think that's a sort of colloquialism that just persists. It's interesting. Professor Wayne Carmichael, he's the one that actually discovered the fact that the toxins are produced by cyanobacteria. So when he was an undergraduate, suddenly there was a big problem, and it came from the veterinary community. Apparently mainly, or a lot of it was in Australia on the sheep farms, in South Africa on the sheep farms, also in Southern Africa, watering holes in game reserves, and to some extent, I think there was farming going on in Saskatchewan or Alberta in Canada. And what they were finding was animals were coming down to the watering hole to drink, and they'd all drop dead. And so for his master's thesis, he was asked to go and identify which pathogenic bacteria was somehow symbiotically coexisting with the algae and causing these deaths. Because the kind of accepted conventional wisdom was there's no such thing as a toxin producing algae, therefore it must be a pathogenic bacteria. And what the kind of outcome of his master's thesis was, it's the cyanobacteria that are producing the toxin. And he tells me that he presented those findings at academic conferences for, he told me, nearly 10 years after that. I don't think it was quite that long. And he was criticized and laughed and put down and said, "You're an idiot. There's no such thing as cyanobacteria producing toxin." For his PhD, he identified and named the microcystin toxin. And he isolated that molecule and showed that was being produced by microcystis. And then that put all doubt to one side. But what has persisted in the lay community sort of thing is this difficulty in understanding the difference between algae, cyanobacteria. They both look the same. Unfortunately, at one stage, the cyanobacteria were called blue-green algae. So again, in the public mind, it's considered a type of algae. So making that distinction. And what Prof. Carmichael does these days is he talks about cyanohabs. So it's a cyanobacteria harmful algae bloom.